Hi guys, I'm back again today with another reaction video, and today we're checking out average American versus average Canadian. How do you compare? So we'll see. I don't think I've ever reacted to anything about Canada or even Canadian, so this will be like a first look into Canada. Well, before we do start, don't forget to subscribe, click the bell button, and let's get it. Let's see what is the difference or the similarities of
This
American and
episode is
Canadian.
brought to you by Skillshare. The first 1,000 people to sign up using the link in the description will get their first 2 months free.
I'm
The
a 4 years
international boundary
late.
is the official name for the longest international border in the world between two countries, specifically Canada and the United States, the second and fourth largest countries by area, respectively. These countries have ever-increasing close cultural and economical ties and similarities. Their shared historical and cultural heritage has resulted in one of the most stable and mutually beneficial international relationships in the world. So how do their populations compare? With so much in common between these two nations, we thought we'd take a look and see just how similar and different the everyday person is in this episode of the Infographics Show, Average American versus Average Canadian. The population of America is just under 326 million people, with the average age being 37.9 years old. And for Canada's population, the total is a little over 36 million, with an average age of 40.6. The average height for an American male is 5 foot 9 inches, and for a female is 5 foot 3.5 inches. For Canadian males, the average height is also 5 foot 9 inches and 5 foot 4 inches for women. What about weight comparisons?
Women
If a
are
person's
taller
body weight is
in
at least
Canada.
20% higher than it should be, he or she is considered obese. When we looked at obesity for Canada versus America, most of the recent studies are for adolescents up to the ages of 19. In the late 1970s, obesity rates for children and adolescents from ages 3 to 19 in both countries hovered around 5%. Those numbers have shot up to around 13% in Canada and 17.5% in the US in recent years. Though Canada trails America in this area, it is steadily catching up. So what does this say about diet, and what do these neighboring nationals like to eat? Canadians
That's what I was gonna ask. But I think he's going to explain or tell us. Probably fast food and then the a beer, right? We'll see though. Maybe I'm wrong.
catching up. So what does this say about diet, and what do these neighboring nationals like to eat? Canadians are known for eating poutine, which consists of french fries with gravy and cheese. Potato chips are also different in Canada. They like ketchup chips and all dressed chips, which are a combination of barbecue, tomato, salt, vinegar, sour cream, and onion. Other classic Canadian foods include smoked meat and beaver tails, which are fried dough shaped like a beaver tail with candy and chocolate.
Oh, thank God. I was like, beaver tails? I'm not gonna eat a beaver. I was like, oh, smoked meat, let's get it. Beaver tails, no thank you. But it's just candy, then go for it. All those Canadian food sounds good, though. I never even like thought about what Canadian cuisine would be. I just assume it's American and probably is, or maybe it's not as. I mean, they have their own flair, but that is something that I really want to get into. Like, want to know what a Canadian cuisine will be, right? Because we know Italian, we know French, we know American, and like Chinese, Indian, but Canada? Has anybody said, hey, you know what? I'm craving Canadian today. Is that a thing? I don't think so. Um, I'm gonna make Canadian food today. So please recommend some videos for me to check out because I am so naive about Canadian culture in general, but mostly the food. Poutine, I've heard about it because of How I Met Your Mother, and that's my only Canadian food reference that I think I know. So let's go.
Smoked meat and beaver tails, which are fried dough shaped like a beaver tail with candy and chocolate on top. Americans, on the other hand, eat buffalo wings and s'mores, and of course are famous for their hot dogs and hamburgers. All foods that are also available in Canada, but are known for being American. When it comes to life expectancy, according to a report from the US National Research Council, Canadians are likely to outlive Americans due to being healthier and in better shape. Health is determined by hundreds of things, and some of those are obviously more favorable in Canada than they are in the US. says report co-author Samuel Preston, a professor of demographics at the University of Pennsylvania. Canadians born in 2007 can expect to live up to 82.3 years for women and 79.3 for men, compared to 80.8 and 75.6 for people born in the US. So if Canadians are living longer, surely the healthcare systems of the two countries must differ. Let's take a look. According to Wikipedia, the United States spends much more money on healthcare than Canada on both a per capita basis and as a percentage of GDP. In 2006, per capita spending for healthcare in Canada was $3,678, whereas in the US, it was $6,714. In that same year, the US spent 15.3% of its GDP on healthcare, while Canada only spent 10%. And 70% of healthcare spending in Canada was financed by the government versus 46% in the United States. In terms of access to healthcare services, in Canada, every legal resident is covered through a publicly financed provincial or territorial plan, whereas Americans need to purchase insurance to be covered, with the lowest income being eligible for public coverage through the expansion of Medicaid. What about salaries, you might ask? According to the website numbeo.com, the average income of an American and a Canadian are roughly the same amount. Canada's after-tax monthly income is about $36.
So you're telling me Canadians and Americans make the same, but then Canadians obviously will spend less on healthcare? And Americans have to pay a fortune for healthcare or insurance? Who is benefiting? Canadians. And probably things are more affordable there. I'm not sure, but I am assuming, because we've seen some of our TikTok videos wherein there's a lady who like needs her insulin, and America's so expensive, but when she went to Canada and she like had a prescription, I believe, and she bought it there, it was so cheap. I think it was like $100+ less, and she was like, "What the fum," right?
$1,000 per year, the US sits just below Canada at approximately $35,300 per year. So we've looked at height, weight, health, and earnings, sports. But what about the culture and lifestyle of these two nations, and how do they compare in these areas? When it comes to sports, Canadians love hockey. They play hockey, watch hockey, and have hockey on their currency, but surprisingly, basketball has overtaken hockey in Canada as the most popular sport. Americans love football and basketball, and both nations enjoy and compete at baseball. When it comes to schooling, Canada doesn't have middle school. Students go to elementary until 6th grade, and then high school from 7th grade to 12th grade before going.
Oh, I don't know why I looked surprised. That's the same in the Philippines, actually. Yeah, we don't call it middle school, we just call it elementary until 6th grade. And then 7th to 12 is high school. Yeah, I was like, maybe because I'm too, like, used to reacting to things that have middle school, like American, or watching American shows, so I'm used to that now, but we do the same as Canadian.
College, apart from Quebec, where students finish high school after 11th grade and then go to vocational school for 2 years before going to college.
Same.
In the United States, children go to elementary school until 5th grade, then middle school from 6th to 8th, and finally high school from 9th grade to 12th grade. After that, they can go on to college. And what about languages? Well, there are over 500 languages spoken by the US population, but only one official language, which is English, specifically American English. Canada has 2 official languages, English and French, and many Canadians believe that the relationship between these 2 languages is a defining aspect of the Canadian culture. Canada's Official Languages Commissioner has stated, in the same way that race is at the core of what it means to be American and at the core of an American experience, and class is at the core of British experience, I think that language is at the core of Canadian experience.
Did you know that? But good to know.
And if you're jealous of people who can speak multiple languages, or if you just want to add an additional one to your list, we suggest taking a Skillshare class called How to Learn a Language in 100 Days. Skillshare is an online learning community with over 20,000 classes.
Is he gonna talk about Skillshare this whole time? Yep, I think we're done. That was fascinating. The comparisons. There's a lot of similarities, but then there's also, like, how do I say this? It's like we both have a pen, but mine is like we are similar in terms of, like, we have a pen, but then we're different because my pen is like cheap and your pen is very expensive, something like that. Or my pen is blue, yours is black, something of that nature. I don't know how to say that in proper way, but yeah, Canadian is something, or Canada is a place that it would be nice to kind of like know more, because I've no knowledge about Canada, right? Um, American or America, we know a lot about it because of, films, and also because we've reacted to a lot of American videos as well, so we kind of know some things. But if there's a video that you want me to check out, let me know down in the comments. If you like this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.